Hey guys, Dib the Awesome here to give you yet another exciting guide on Diegel, Monster Legends guide. Bada bing, bada boom. This is the rank 3 monster for the entirety of the pass, meaning if you do the pass, you get the $20 pass at the very least. You do get this monster. It doesn't come with the free, basic pass, the free-to-play pass, but if you get the $20 pass, you do get Diegel. I'm going to say Diegel is going to be a pretty huge check right now. And his passive's really great. Like everything he has is good. His life stat 72,384. Yeah. I read the words right. Compared to other cosmic mythics, I don't know if this is really considered a tanky life. Um, but he checks quite a few things that could be important in terms of his power stat, which is 7,744. Holy tamale. That's a spicy damage boost, boost. His speed is 5,841. Spicy speed. The best. Pretty nice. I'm gonna say it's pretty great. Everything about it is great right now. So, trait. What's his trait? I said his traits are amazing. So, at rank 0, he gets Celestial, meaning you are a divine being, which means you can never be stunned because you yourself are already stunning. You're already stunful, so you can't be stunned. There's nothing more that can stun you. You are the most stunning boy. At rank 1, you get Curse Immunity. This is really nice because Curse is it's the most powerful one straight off the bat. Curse is the strongest DOT in the game. It really is, because over time, if you have Curse on you after, for sure the second turn it starts to wear down. It's like, holy tamale. Stamina draining. Your stamina is so sad. Obviously on the third turn, if you don't have this cleaned, you just die. Like straight up after the third turn for sure. If you haven't healed or cleansed it, you do die. Like after just the amount of damage you take from everyone else, Curse does actually wind up killing you on the third turn for the most part. Take this in note: if Curse doesn't kill you on the first or second turn, you're dead on the third turn. There is no going back. If it's still on you, you're dead. That's how Curse works. So, oh, hey Kiwi. Hey. Nope. Sorry, Kiwi. Oh. Kiwi, sit. Kiwi. Kiwi, sit. Hey, my cat's hyper right now. Now I want the rank 0 in the pass. But yeah, Curse is nice to have. Even if it's not total torture immunity, I will say if you have Curse immunity, you should be considered a good monster at that point. Curse is such a end gaming, DOT, and to have Curse immunity is really spicy. At rank 3, I think this is the icing on the top. It gets self-protect trait immunity. Now, in the past, this passive hasn't ever really been good, because just due in part by the fact a lot of monsters have extra turn removals. Like anything that has ever had this, I'm talking freeze immunity. If you have freeze immunity, and you have trait protection, odds are, oh hey, this was designed to protect you against Lassa. It really didn't. You know what? It really didn't. But you know why I think this passive is good? I said straight off the bat, this thing has a really great passive. Why is this passive good? It counters Grakon. Yes, that's right, folks. We finally have a monster that counters Grakon. Just straight off the bat. You can't it's I'm gonna trait to Sibelia. Nope, if you have this up still, he can't do that. He cannot bully you. He cannot say, no, you die. It's nope, you die. It's great, it's fantastic. So this protects you absolutely. This 100% protects you from Grakon, at the beginning of the game. If you have a Megaton monster, he cannot just straight up use trait disable to lose Celestial. You do for sure have a way to just prevent you from ever being insta code by Grakon. This actually removes his insta win condition. This is so helpful. It's so good. So I think that's why we're gonna see a lot of this monster in play. That's reason number one. It's just straight up a Grakon counter. Grakon can't do anything immediately at the beginning of the game. If anything, he can activate cooldowns, and even then, I don't think that matters. I don't think even the cooldowns activate matters anymore, because he actually has spammable damage skills too. So Grakon cannot just instantly check Diegel. Like Diegel's a monster that like he can like check at the beginning of the game. If you have Megaton up and you don't like you can avoid like them cleansing your self trait protection, they cannot trait disable right away. That's such a big deal. Relics now. Okay, so this thing has 3 reasons why it's good. Oh my god. It can hold a sword and an essence. Essence. I want to emphasize essence. Emphasize the essence, my boys. You can hold an Uriel's essence, so even if you kill this little turd, hey, guess what? He comes back, and you can extra turn your villain skill. If they have villain still, you can extra turn, bada bing bop them. This is for sure a guaranteed way just not to die. Even if this thing dies, he comes back. That's super annoying. And it might be one of your justifications of not running Vanoss because it's just straight up the bat. It seems like it doesn't care about anything. Like even if it dies, it comes back. Like and it does so much damage, and you can check villains. It's nuts. Like it's insane. But yeah, it's super good. Basically, don't die. I feel like we're gonna see a lot more bases in the future where they're running Essence and no one dies. So it's nice to have on a damage dealer, especially Cosmic Era monsters, because their stats are so good. To have Essence and Revive, phenomenal. Villain Slayer is a spammable 40 damage skill. Run this skill. This is the single target skill you have to run. I don't see any other spammable single target skill. You run the skill. The bigger the better. Low 20 damage area skill. Don't run this skill ever. That's not useful. Unless you have like Villain Hater up and they're running a Megaplant monster. That's the only time it's useful. Cosmic Mustache. This thing has a mustache. Deals moderate life damage to all enemies. Applies blade to everyone on the enemy team. Bing's effect is on a 1-turn cooldown. It is a spicy option to run. Avian Saver applies damage boost and evasion to itself. Or Evelus Saver, whoops. I said Avian Saver. Evelus Savior. It is a self-damage and evasion skill. I'd say this is an optional skill to run to have evasion plus damage boost. Maybe you need it. You never know. I'd say this is a situational skill. You probably don't even need to run it. Given the fact it's not an extra turn skill, I'd say you definitely don't have to run it. Think big. This is the most tilting skill in the entire game, I think. Applies Villain Hater and gives 1 extra turn to itself. This is a pretty big deal. So basically, this whole entire time I've been saying this monster is insanely good. Why is this monster insanely good? It's because it has Villain Hater, and Villain Hater basically equates to having Evil Legion Hater, because everything that's evil is obviously a bad guy, right? Right. So anything in Evil Legions is probably in Villains, and that's disgusting, because that means it kills every single meta monster ever existed in the game. Ever. Really, it honestly does. Like, look at all the past meta monsters. You'll see, like, 95% of them have always been an evil monster for whatever reason. And odds are the evil monsters in villains, too. So it does actually check a lot. It checks Kraken. It checks Ragnarok. It checks... what else does it check? Oh, hey, how about the 2 Megaton monsters we have for Cosmics? Yeah, it checks those, too. Chicka check, chicka check, chicka ching check, chicka check. It's got like a big old checklist of all these competitive monsters that he can execute without even thinking. He doesn't even need to think. That's how disgusting this thing is. I will say, in case of Ragnarok's event, this is a problem for like Soul Hugger too, because Soul Hugger was also supposed to check Ragnarok as the Spirit Hater, but the problem with that is if you do have anticipation, I will say your Spirit is saving grace, because Ragnarok can just do his whatchamacallit. He can do the Angel's Blessing or whatever, the FU skill. Yeah, he can do FU and evasion, so you can't damage him. You can't bully. Basically, he puts up a shield that says, "You can't bully me yet. You can't kill me yet." It's like he does that. You can do that. That's something he's capable of doing. He can also pass turns if he didn't cooldowns activate again. But if you do cooldowns activate, you can check them. It's just an odd situation. It's really bullshit. But for the most part, if you do activate his cooldowns, you should be able to check. That's no problem still. It's just the beginning of the turn if he has his skills up to it. That's all it boils down to. But beyond that, you do check Ragnarok, and that's so huge. You check anything that's a villain. and that's basically everyone's competitive. Every competitive monster, even Solar Flare, who's competitive, is a villain. So it checks. It's such a huge list of checks. These two new monsters we're getting from this pass really just checks a lot of things in the game. It's so good because Solar Flare checks any any cooldowns activate monster ever was, and this monster checks any villain or competitive monster that ever was. That's a villain. I'm going to emphasize anything that's a villain, which is everything in the game. I'll even do like a short funny video. I was like, oh, I wonder what's in the villain book. Oh, everything was everything competitive. So yeah, that's pretty great. That's just, you have to run the skill. You get too much value for running this skill, and it probably lasts for 2 or 3 turns. Check in with Onions. Deals light damage to all enemies. Apply sunburn to all enemies. I will say it's an optional skill. It's the same thing I said with Solar Flare. If you're missing a DOT, you don't cover it yet, run it. It's optional. Though if you're just looking for soul damage, this is your highest. Actually, it's not your highest damage skill. You don't have to run the skill if you don't want to. DL6. Deals massive light damage to one enemy. Applies blink to one enemy. This is a 65 damage skill on a 1-turn cooldown. You run the skill. I don't care what you say. You run the spamble single target. You run the big old giant damage single target with 1-turn cooldown. And then you probably want to run his Cosmos. His Cosmic Grandma. I said his Cosmos Grandma. His Cosmic Grandma. Deals moderate light damage to all enemies. Applies daze to all enemies. And your long story short, removes positive effects, you kill everyone, and apply sunburn. No, it doesn't insta-kill, it basically does. You are a cosmic damage dealer. How are you not murdering everyone at this point with the 45 damage area skill? Basically, you can evasion. If they don't have protect, positive effects, and evasion, you do just insta-check the monster. That's pretty nice. Really strong ultimate, yeah, but long story short, think bid. DL6, his grandma, and spammable single target skill. You check everything at the game. I was like, oh, but Dib, you don't do like, you mean if you're on like a light monster, you should be fine, right? Given the fact the meta light monsters right now are, well, I'd say Wormlet's the only saving grace, the only one that's not too bothered by. But then again, keep this in mind, he's a legend, so he takes more damage. And odds are at 150, you'll probably still kill Wormlet. You will probably still murder Wormlet even with the type disadvantage damage. So, and the other one is, of course, a villain light monster, Bombeta. So, yeah. It checks everything. Just take my word for it. It really does just check everything. Partners, anything that ensures you're checking. Again, cooldowns activate. They can't do any retaliation. I will say Ragnarok is the hugest thing you need to check with that villain hater buff. So just make sure you activate cooldowns so he can't respond, and then you just insta kill. Go for the win. Yeah, that's really about it. You will just kill everything. Just run it with monsters that ensure he gets his extra turn in without a disrupt. Run a Mega Taunt, and then run cooldowns activate. Hopefully they don't get cooldowns protection. But everything else should be fine. Evasion's also a bother. I would say if you're running a monster with move positive effects, that's better. That can also cooldowns activate. That could give you more wiggle room, or you could just run room. No, I think the better idea would be run Blast, run a cooldowns activate, and then win. Yeah, I think that's better. Like, yeah, if you run Blast to remove positive effects and antivirus into your cooldowns activate, and then just go for the win. Odds are they're running at least 2 or 3 villain monsters on the enemy team, so you can kill them. Very nice, very spicy. Yeah, that should be it. You should also go before Graken too, because you are a Cosmic Mythic, so even if you're running a single speed rune, you'll outrun a maxed out one, so that's pretty spicy. Anything else I want to say? I'm actually really concerned if this is healthy for them. I think this monster's too good. Just simply due to the fact he heals every villain monster in the game, and he checks any dark monster in the game. So, yeah, it's terrifying. I'm gonna say it's gonna impact the game in a huge way. I feel like I'll see this plus Solar Flare on every single team. I think that's a huge definite. But yeah, that's it for this video. I'm Dib the Awesome, and I'll catch you guys later.